Hello everybody and welcome to another episode of Micks Mowers. In today's episode we're going to be taking a little look at the Mountfield Strimmer that came in as part of the big job lot from the landfill site. I believe this to be a very simple fix and hopefully it'll run and turn a quick little penny for me. It's amazing what people do actually just throw out because things don't work, but we'll have a little look at it, see what it does. From what I remember in the video prior to it, in the job lot quick look video, it did fire on carb spray and I deemed that the intake fuel pipe has been corroded and snapped, and that's all it is. So what I'm going to do, quick little fuel tap fix or fuel pipe fix on this little machine. Hopefully it starts straight up after that and we'll be good to go. If this is your first time watching Micks Mowers, hit the subscribe button, whack your bell, set notifications to all, ding. That way you'll be told, one, done a video, and two, I'm on my Saturday night weekly live stream, which starts at 6:30 PM UK time. So without further ado, let's get down and dirty and let's check out this Mountfield Strimmer. Okay, so as some of you will remember, if you watched the quick look video, this machine fired on carburetor spray, but yet wouldn't run as it was, it wouldn't prime. And as I say, I had a quick little look at it on the last video, and there's a fuel pipe here, where it's just here. It's actually snapped off, that's all it is. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the fuel out of this machine and then have a little fish around for the fuel line that should be inside here with a filter and put a new fuel line on. So let me just drain the fuel out and I'll come back 2 ticks. Right, I've got my little LED torch, thank you Zip. Fantastic little torch this is. I'm going to go deep in the depths of it. I'm having a little look to see, I think I can see it actually. I think it's hooked up inside the fuel tank itself. I think I can see something right down the bottom here, but it's tucked right out the way. I might give it a bit of a tap, just to dislodge it. Whatever is in there, I can see it right at the bottom, back here somewhere. There it goes, just heard something drop. And now, there you go, there it is. So it was in there all the time. It was hiding, Riley. But, however, this is not too bad a fuel filter. We can use that still, I think. I'm just going to take that off. This fuel line is perished. You can see it has. Let's see how it snaps, look, bits and pieces. So that's no good to us. So, however, I do have a brand new fuel line. Just here, and all you want to do is take a sample of this one. So just do a clean cut with my snips from Luke. Do a clean cut, and then you can then measure roughly the outside diameter. That's actually quite a thick old lead, that is. To be fair, it's going to be this kiddie here. That's about the best one I've got, the biggest I've got.
Daddy,
yes, buddy.
Mummy back home.
Where's Mummy back home? Mummy back home later on, mate. She's at work, isn't she?
Oh, wow.
She's looking after sick people, isn't she? You want to give Mummy a big kiss, do you? I suspect she'd enjoy that. You know what Mummy's like for having kisses.
So I am.
Do you want to go see Nana?
Yeah.
Go on then, buddy. Away you go. No worries.
Well done.
So, what we're now going to do is I'm going to remove this fuel line off of the inlet, okay? Off the back of a carburetor. That's got to come off. That may not come off as easy as you would like, because it is quite solid. So what you may have to do is get a decent pair of long nose pliers to really give it some physics to get it off, because they're stuck on there, you see. You can remove a carburetor to do this, but in all fairness, I probably wouldn't do so, because you're just asking for more trouble. So get your long nose pliers in, if you can, and just pry down. Bit of a twist, and it should come off. If it don't come off, and this one don't want to, you want to get a little craft knife of some description, Stanley blade, that sort of thing, which I also have. Get your craft knife and then just run it down the side of that fuel line, just to split it, and then it should come off with a bit more ease to it. There it goes. All come off in one, and that's just the job. Now what you've got to do is bear in mind is just how long you want your fuel line, because you want it ideally to be sat in the middle of a tank. So just take a rough reading. It's going to be to about there, and snip that off, okay? But when you snip it off at a slight angle. I'll just show you why very shortly. I'll go a bit longer. Slight angle like so, okay? Once you've done that, what you can then do is push this onto your carburetor inlet hose, the one you just took off, with a pair of long nose pliers, and just feed it onto the carburetor hose itself. Okay, so that goes on. So that's now in place. Once that's in place, what you then do is bring your hose around so it doesn't kink, okay? And then literally you want to push it through here. Now there may be a very high chance that the old fuel hose is actually still within the grommet. So go very, very careful with something not too sharp. And all you want to do is just push that old bit of fuel hose back through into the tank. It doesn't matter if it sits in the tank because we're going to have a filter on this anyway. So there it goes into there now. If you're concerned about it, all you want to do is tip it up, give it a wiggle, and it comes out just like so, okay? With your new bit of hose, you can now, with a pointed end, you can now just offer that into the hole with a pair of long nose pliers. And what I like to do is just give it a little bit of oil, maybe, just to help it on its way. Pair of long nose pliers, and then just push that fuel hose into the hole, all the way in. And you want to push it all the way until the hose is quite taut, okay? You don't want no kinks in this. So keep going, we're nearly there, and that's about as far as you want to go, okay? Not a nice line, and the pipe needs to be wider than the hole on the grommet, okay? With that done, I use a pair of medical forceps. You can use a bit of wire, like a hook, to fish it out. And all you're doing is trying to find the wire, the pipe you just put in. I can see mine's there. And just start to fish that out. It is a bit tricky, especially when you're trying to be on camera and you're trying to get you guys to see what's going on. But just start to fish that out. I might turn my forceps around the other way, actually. Might be a bit easier. I do actually have a bit of wire somewhere in my toolbox, which I use to hook this sort of stuff out. But forceps generally do the trick as well. There it is. I've got hold of it. Okay, I managed just to fish mine out. Just put my finger in there as well, just helped it out. Now with your pointed end, you now just want to cut that off straight. And then with your filter that came with it, just push your filter back on. If you're a bit concerned about your filter, then change it for another one. This has got a little bit of metal in there, so it's quite heavy. Now push your filter back in. This is the important bit. When it goes back in, it may not want to sit exactly where it should do. So you have to get your forceps, screwdriver, whatever, and push it all the way in so that it sits exactly where it should. You want that pipe to be fully flexed again as it should be. So with a torch, what you're looking for your filter to be down here. And mine isn't. Mine is actually curled up. So I'm just going to push mine down so that my fuel line is where it should be. And now I believe mine to be where it should be. Okay. With that now done, we can now put your fuel cap back on. Put your fuel back into the machine. Yes, I should use a funnel. And that's a correct mix fuel for this. We can now put the fuel cap back on, and before I put the airbox back on, I now want to prime this bulb. And now, this wasn't priming beforehand. Now if it doesn't prime, it could be that your fuel filter is not actually on the bottom of the tank. So give it a bit of a swirl. Just to try and dislodge that fuel line. Okay, so that's now still not priming. So it could be a question of the carburetor needs cleaning, or the fuel filter is not actually where it should be. What I'm going to do, I'm going to put this, open the throttle up on this machine to open the throttle, and I'm going to spray some WD-40 down in the head of it. Maybe the diaphragm's a little bit stiff. And now, by doing that, we'll hopefully encourage the fuel to come on up. Still not priming. Bit more WD-40. Once you've got all the air out of the system, it should go. It's trying to suck it up, I can see it is. Let's tip it back. Now it's priming. So I believe the fuel filter not to be where it should be. Okay. I believe the filter to be up here somewhere. So what I'm going to do is I'm very gently going to remove the fuel again from this machine and have another inspection. As to why this isn't actually priming. It primes when you tip the machine back, but not when you you have the machine laid down. So I'll give that fuel filter. What I'm going to do is the fuel pipe, I'm going to bring it back all the way up. Okay, and it might just unkink itself. Let's just drop down, I heard something move in. So now I'm going to try and push that back in. There it goes, you hear that? Something just moved. So now I'm going to push that fuel pipe back down again. And so I believe it just not to be underneath the fuel. Now it's going back in. So I think the fuel filter is actually too high. So now we're going to push the fuel back in again. And this is a problem with the new fuel pipes, is that they're still quite stiff. So fuel goes back in, fuel cap on. Nice and tight, prime the bulb, and there you go. Perfectly priming carburetor, but does it run? That's the next question. So let's take it outside, put the airbox back on, take it outside, we'll give it a run and see if it starts up. Okay, Mountfield Strimmer. As I say, bought from a job lot from a refuse centre. We get a couple of pumps. It's priming nice now. On to start. Let's see if it doesn't actually start up. Choke is up. Let's see what happens. I'll let it warm up a touch. So don't forget there's actually WD-40 on here as well, so we'll be a bit smoky. So it starts, stops, it runs, head spins, right, so I have just adjusted the tick over slightly and just tuned it as well, so it will tick over slightly higher. So it ticks over nice. The full throttle. And now it ticks over nice as well. Job done. Okay, so that's that little Mountfield Strimmer multi-tool. Now all up and running. It wants another little tune just on the top end, but that's about it, just to bring the pickup up just a touch. But no biggie. It's running exactly as it should do. It stops, starts, and does what it should do, and well happy. That come from a landfill site. It was only destined to go one way, and just for a small piece of fuel pipe about 8 inches long, it's now up and running and doing exactly what it should do. So super happy. It should sell for some good money. If this is your first time watching Micks Mowers, hit the subscribe button and whack your bell, set notifications to all. That way you'll be told one, done a video, or two, on my Saturday night wiki live stream, which starts at 6:30 p.m. UK time. I look forward to the next episode of Micks Mowers very, very soon. But until then, people, don't forget, much more importantly, take care easy.